Hello everyone, welcome back here to Weather on the Go. We're doing some live coverage here for a little while, until probably around 1:30, just for a little while to cover some of the storms that we have going across portions of Oklahoma. We got some supercell thunderstorms already firing up here at this late morning and early afternoon, depending on what side of the country you're on. So again, thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. If you are here, again, make sure to press the like button. It helps to get this information passed along to more and more people. We have a few severe thunderstorm warnings. We had a couple tornado warnings already that did occur here later this morning already across western Oklahoma. So let's dive right into the analysis here. You can see there's a pretty strong storm just between Woodward and Enid here into Oklahoma. We're definitely seeing some strong hail cores with this storm right along the interstate there, Interstate 60. Again, between Woodward and Enid. And the storm has a history of producing some very large hail already this morning. And you can see some golf ball size hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts is possible with this particular thunderstorm as it moves up to the north and east. So areas impacted here, Fairview, and then that will stretch up there in towards the Carmen and Helena region. So, and then up there toward Jet and Cleo Springs. So if you live in Fairview and Cleo Springs, you're first, and then up there toward Helena, Jet into Oklahoma, you're going to start to see these severe thunderstorms move up into your area very, very shortly. And you can see the hail core with this storm. You can see kind of the purples on the radar. That kind of indicates a little bit of a stronger hail core with this storm in particular. That's where those golf ball size hailstones will be. So we're keeping a very close eye on that as it moves up to the north and east. We'll put the radar in motion for you folks, and you can see this is crossing over the strongest part of the storm in the hail core just west of Fairview, Oklahoma, moving over the interstate right now as we speak. And again, that is heading up toward Cleo Springs. So if you are in Cleo Springs, Oklahoma, make sure that you have your cars indoors. And again, make sure you are indoors as well yourself, because this severe thunderstorm is capable of producing some damaging hail here. More severe weather up to the north and east of this region, crossing out of Oklahoma and into southern portions of Kansas. We're keeping a close eye on here close to Wichita, just south of Wichita, some pretty strong storms here. We kind of look at the velocity signature with these storms. Right now, not seeing a lot of strong rotation. Certainly not like yesterday, where the Omaha region saw a lot of tornadoes up there. Not yet. We don't see that quite yet with these storms. These are mainly hail and wind producers. This storm here to the north, crossing from Oklahoma into Kansas, is for 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter-size hail. Areas impacted here: Caldwell, South Haven, that'll be stretching up toward Wellington, Oxford, Winfield, and Belle Plaine up there into southern Kansas, south of Wichita. So if you know anybody that may or may not live up in that region, make sure to just let them know that there is some severe weather coming their way as we go through the next few minutes. And then again, that'll be heading up towards the Wichita region very soon. So again, thank you guys for joining here, live coverage for a little bit here, and we're going to be going over some of the radar, just kind of showing you some of the storms out here. We have one supercell, very interesting. We got to keep an eye on this. We're dropping you back down into northwest Texas now, toward the Paducah, Texas region here. For a severe warning, this is for 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter-size hail here. This is for southeastern Cottle County in northwest Texas. This storm is heading up toward the Quanah region and just east of Childress. This storm is actually showing signs of actually potentially rotating very soon. Right now, we don't have any major rotation with the storm, but just kind of the look of the storm on the radar here kind of gives you that idea that this storm is kind of discrete. It's all by itself, and we could start to see a little bit of some inflow into the storm kind of in from the south and east there. Right now, no strong rotation, but we'll keep a very close eye on that kind of structure of the storm over the next few minutes to see what happens from this. And you can see this is, again, going to be heading up there towards Oklahoma as well. We got a few more storms popping outside of that area here. Back down toward Abilene, we got some storms as well, just, kind of in and around the area here. They're pretty isolated. They're pretty discreet. And, if they do become severe, they could lead to some, hailstones out there and some gusty winds and potentially even some isolated tornadoes, even into Texas. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. But again, thank you all for joining here live severe weather coverage. I hope everybody's having a great weekend out there so far. A dangerous day ahead for severe weather, that is for sure. And we're going to kind of zoom out and show you the outlook. See if the new outlook from the Storm Prediction Center is out yet real quick here as we're looking at the radar. So the new outlook from the Storm Prediction Center is out. We do have a moderate risk maintained across portions of southeastern Kansas, southwestern. This is extreme southwestern Missouri into Oklahoma and North Texas. This is a level 4 out of 5, folks, on the severe risk scale. This is a pretty rare kind of high-end event today, potentially, of, again, a 4 out of 5 into this red shaded color. If you're in the orange, even further north, I want you folks up here into Lincoln, Nebraska, Des Moines, Kansas City, and St. Joseph, Missouri. Some of these areas up here, Manhattan, Kansas, Great Bend, Hutchinson, these areas, and then up toward Omaha again. Unfortunately, we have another enhanced risk of severe weather. That is a level 3 out of 5 on the severe risk scale up into this region here. So again, make sure you are staying weather aware. And even outside of that area, we still have a lower end day of severe weather up further to the north and east in the Midwest, Great Lakes region. This extends into Chicago, Milwaukee, in towards Grand Rapids, Michigan. So kind of a far-reaching event here, literally from just about the Canada-U.S. border all the way down to the Texas-Mexico border. So a very, very widespread area of severe weather potential today. What is concerning about today is actually the probabilities of severe weather. So first, looking at the hail threat, the Storm Prediction Center has a very rare but very large 45% significant hail risk here. So that essentially means that 45% of us in this purple shaded color in southeastern Kansas, much of Oklahoma, and North Texas, 45% of us in that outlined area will see hailstones in excess of 2 inches in diameter today, or at least a very strong potential of seeing that. So that is something to keep a close eye on as we do go through the day. And not only even just in that area, we have a 30% hatched hail risk further north, including Kansas City, Topeka, into the Des Moines region, into Omaha, and then again back there, even into eastern Colorado, seeing a 15% significant hail risk there. So a large area of hail, literally stretching from Des Moines all the way down to the Texas-Mexico border, with those hailstones potentially hen egg size or larger. What is another concern today, as we saw yesterday, is again, we have another large area of tornado potential, and we also do have another area, an even larger area relative to yesterday, for some strong to potentially violent but long track tornadoes, especially again from portions of southeastern Nebraska into western Missouri, east central Kansas, down into much of the state of Oklahoma here, and into northwest Texas. This is mainly a Dallas-Fort Worth on west, so kind of the dividing line here in Texas is west of I-35 for those stronger tornadoes potentially today. And then you have that 15% probability of those strong to violent tornadoes. Tulsa, Oklahoma City, the Moore, Oklahoma region, Lawton and Fort Sill. That extends over into Texas, the Vernon and Wichita Falls region. That extends into Kansas here, Wichita, and then on up there into portions of like Joplin, Missouri. You're in that as well, and up toward Emporia, Kansas. So kind of a very large area of tornado potential. And again, that stretches all the way up toward Milwaukee, Chicago. You guys have a 2% chance of tornadoes today. And then looking at the wind threat, we could have some hurricane force wind gusts today as well, especially here across Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, as we have those upscale growth of storms as we go later in the day. We're going to see supercells, much like we're seeing now, kind of become more numerous through the peak heating time frame this afternoon. Those storms will actually grow upscale into what we call a QLCS line of storms, kind of a fancy acronym for a quasi-linear convective system. That's what that means, and it's kind of like a squall line. It produces damaging winds, large hail, and embedded tornadoes, and we could see that here. And the damaging wind risk, it has a 30% chance of those hurricane force wind gusts. Okay, we're talking 75 mile per hour or stronger in this environment. So that is something we certainly need to watch out for as we go through the day today, especially from Topeka down into Wichita here, Joplin, Missouri, into Tulsa, the Oklahoma City metro area, and then into eastern Oklahoma there. So like McAllister, Stigler, and in toward the Ardmore area. And that could even stretch as far south as the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex, Denton, Texas, Gainesville over here towards the Wichita Falls region. Almost to the Abilene area and Waco. So a very large area of wind potential today as well. That could be significant. Those, hurricane force wind gusts. A very big deal. So a big day on the way, a dangerous day potentially for severe weather. Much like yesterday, we had several dozens of tornado reports yesterday. They're probably still filtering in, adding to those today and kind of, going through some of the data. But wow, yeah, yesterday was a busy day. Yesterday was a busy day for severe weather. There is no doubt about that. So let's get back here into the radar coverage of the storms. And again, I appreciate everybody joining here. If you are here, make sure to smash that like button down below. It helps to get more people engaged here in the live stream as we're live here for a little while. And it helps, to subscribe to the channel so you guys get my weather videos as well. So I appreciate that. I don't foresee Detroit, Michigan getting added to any tornado probabilities just because the low pressure system is actually kind of well removed from the Detroit area. Okay, so like if we're zooming this out here real quick and kind of showing you what we're talking about, the low pressure system today, and let me turn on the kind of the satellite view here and kind of show you what we're talking about. Let's go to the IR. All right, so we got explosive storm development down here. We got a low pressure system down here across portions of like the lee side of the Rockies into Kansas. So we got a low pressure system out here into the Central Plains today. And I'll try to make a good color for it so you guys can see it here. We'll do black, I guess. So we kind of got a low pressure system out here in the Central Plains. Detroit is way removed from the low pressure system out here. The warm sector kind of draped across this region here. You got the dry line back here. Kind of a classic triple point setup. We saw that in Omaha area yesterday. We're going to see that again in Kansas, Oklahoma. The strongest dynamics are down here. We got the feed off of the Gulf of Mexico down here. We got the colder air coming in on the backside of the trough as it ejects across the plains. You got kind of a warm front up here, so we got to watch up into Missouri as well. That's why we have that strong tornado risk further to the north. Just kind of giving you a general synoptic look at our weather pattern. So for Detroit, I don't really see much of a tornado risk for you up there. You're just pretty well removed from any severe weather like that up in that region today. Yes, Topeka, Kansas has the potential for some strong tornadoes today. Right now, Topeka, you are dry. There's no severe weather in your vicinity quite yet. There is severe weather entering into areas south of Wichita right now. We got severe thunderstorm warnings there, but right now dry in Topeka. And if you see any sunshine come out in the city of Topeka today, today is the day you don't want to see sunshine. That actually kind of destabilizes the atmosphere, makes it more unstable, and that means more potentially intense severe weather could follow that a few hours later if you do see some sunshine today. So make sure, again, to remain weather aware today. And make sure to have multiple ways to receive watches and warnings as they'll be coming in fast and furious through the evening hours. And lots of tornado warnings likely as well. So we're seeing a lot of clustering up of storms down here between Woodward and Enid into Oklahoma. Very nice looking storm down here. We still have those golf ball size hailstones and some 60-mile-per-hour winds. This storm again is crossing over Interstate 60 right now. The hail core has just crossed over Interstate 60 now, and this hail core is headed right towards the Clio Springs area and then on up there toward Carmen and Helena into Oklahoma. This is northwest Oklahoma. That's where that hail core would be, and we can kind of show you how tall some of these storms are as well. Like looking at the echo tops here, look how tall the storm is. No wonder it's producing some golf ball size hail. This storm is over 50,000 feet tall. This is 52,000 feet here. And when you get an updraft that strong, you remember, the taller the updraft, the more potential the storm has to produce severe weather. And you definitely have that as we go into the areas here of Woodward and Enid area, northwest Oklahoma. Very strong looking storm there. Very nice looking echo tops, and exactly why we're seeing the hail there again entering into Clio Springs. Further south, a little bit more clustering of storms here and towards, say, the areas just north and west of the Oklahoma City area and north of Elk City here. We got another severe thunderstorm warning. This is for 60-mile-per-hour winds as well and some quarter-size hail. This is actually racing off to the north and east at 60 miles an hour. So we're definitely watching out for that as well. So make sure if you are in any of these areas in western Oklahoma, under the Sealing area, Taloga, the Camergo area, the Leedy, and the Strong City area back there as well. Make sure that you are remaining away from windows and staying indoors, because we have a severe thunderstorm. We always say, you know, when thunder roars, go indoors. Well, that still applies here. We definitely have the threat for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and also those quarter-size hailstones. And this is all activity that is still north and west, or just west of the Oklahoma City area. Very interesting here. As I put the radar in motion, look at these cells starting to pop up here now. More robust development back toward Elk City, Altus, and then in towards the eastern Texas panhandle here. These will eventually become severe. I have no doubt about that. With the environment downstream today in this region, these storms that are developing, these showers, if you will kind of track up to the north and east, kind of as the other ones are up there toward Woodward and Enid into northwest Oklahoma. Those storms will become severe as they get strong enough and tap into that energy that the atmosphere is providing with us today. So we'll keep a close eye on those as they start developing here. Again, welcome everybody to live tornado outbreak coverage here. We're going to be live for a little while talking about some of these storms. If you're new here, make sure to press the like button and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. My Twitter handle, or X, is on the screen at hweather420. You can follow me there as well. I really appreciate it. More additional weather information there. What we're seeing down here into Texas today is interesting. Again, much like we've seen most of the severe weather season thus far in 2024, we have a cap on the atmosphere down into portions of the Dallas-Fort Worth area today. It remains to be seen whether or not we will start to see some severe weather later today, more widespread severe weather in Dallas-Fort Worth. Going to be more of an isolated threat of severe weather, and very well, if the cap holds strong here and strong enough, we may not even see a drop of rain in some of these areas further south until later this evening as that front comes through. So kind of waiting on that to see what happens there. But right now, yeah, it looks like a cap on the atmosphere there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And basically what a cap is, you got warm surface temperatures, say this morning, temperatures in the mid-70s there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And temperatures aloft are pretty warm as well, so you kind of have that inversion going on. And basically what that means is you're just going to see kind of those storm clouds attempting to form, but they hit that cap, that lid on the atmosphere, and they can't grow any taller. So essentially the storm kind of gets shunted smaller, or it just kind of remains the same. It doesn't get any stronger. So that's kind of what a cap does. And sometimes even the cap can be strong enough to prevent any cloud cover from forming, and some of the real strong capping inversions out there in the plains. So we'll keep an eye on that. That is definitely in play there today. Yeah, so basically we're seeing 4 severe thunderstorm warnings, one of them into southern Kansas, south of Wichita there. We have 3 others in northwestern portions of Oklahoma. This is all north and west of the Oklahoma City metro and well west of Tulsa, Oklahoma here. So we're just getting started. We're just getting underway with some of the severe weather ongoing today. We've already had a few tornado warnings. Thankfully, I don't believe any of those before I went live were touch the ground or anything, so that's some good news. But we're still keeping a close eye on it because that is the potential today. Strong tornadoes is definitely possible. Looking at the storm down here, just to the north and east of Paducah into Texas and heading up toward the Childress, kind of between Childress and Vernon, Texas, and this is heading up towards Oklahoma. This storm's interesting. Not a warning on it right at the moment, but kind of watching some of these discrete cells down here. These cells need to be watched. They're entering into an environment that is very favorable for tornado genesis. You can see we have a lot of space in between these storms, which essentially means that we're going to see likely the potential for tornadoes increase over the next few hours closer to the Oklahoma City and Norman areas there. So if you live up there and even into Lawton, Fort Sill, into southwestern Oklahoma, be on the lookout. These supercells that will become supercells, if they aren't, starting to develop into them now, will become more intense over the next few hours. As we get into peak daytime heating this afternoon, we're going to start to see them lifting further to the north and east. And this kind of has a little bit of an appendage on it. That's why I've had, super eyeballing this up here. You can see right now we're not really looking at any rotation too much, significant rotation with that. Maybe just some very weak rotation north and east to Paducah, but certainly the storm is not producing a tornado right now. And that is some good news. But notice the echo tops with even these storms down here. Look at this. If I put this into motion, look how we go from almost nothing here to just about 50,000 foot echo tops with some of these storms. So the environment is ripe for severe weather. We have a lot of instability today, over 3,000 joules per kilogram across this region. This is going to allow for storms to basically explode across Oklahoma, in the lack of a better term. And these storms could pack a punch today. So that's what we're doing, some live coverage and kind of going over some of the warnings here. So where's everybody from here today that's joining the live stream? Where are you all from? You from Oklahoma, Kansas, Florida? Where are you guys from? Arkansas won't get storms until overnight tonight, and really late in the day here. Arkansas is well to the east here. These storms are firing back here into western portions of Oklahoma. They won't reach Arkansas until very late. And I guess we could look here at the models, kind of looking at the newest HRRR model that came in, kind of giving you a simulation of what the radar could look like in the next several hours to come. So we'll check out that and kind of give you a timing of some of these storms here. And the HRRR model that just came out, the 15Z, is actually pretty decent with the kind of the placement of some of the supercells already here. You can see where it's showing that around the 11 a.m. time frame. I know it's noon now, Central Time, but kind of giving you a good placement here of the storms. And you can see here as we go deeper in towards the afternoon, 2 o'clock, look at these storms blowing up across Wichita region, into northwestern portions of Oklahoma. We still have to watch some of these storms over into Arkansas, but I don't think a lot of these will really be that severe, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. I think if they go severe, be more of a hail and wind threat over here. We have potentially a couple discrete supercells back here towards northwest Texas, entering into far southwest Oklahoma. This is early afternoon at 2 o'clock. Otherwise, the more robust activity we're going to have to keep an eye on will be from essentially Wichita all the way down toward Elk City here. That's where we could see some very large hail, up to 3 inches in diameter. We could be seeing those strong, violent, long track tornado potentials there, and some damaging winds over 70 miles an hour. Also of note, further north, we need to keep an eye on the warm front up here as well. We know the warm front enhances some of the wind shear up here into like Manhattan, Kansas, over to Kansas City here, St. Joseph. We have to keep an eye on this. Some of these storms could become tornadic if they get rooted on the warm front, those surface-based storms. This is about 2 o'clock here this afternoon, so we're going to keep an eye on that. And then we'll move the clock here to about 4 o'clock this afternoon, 5 o'clock, and you can see a lot more activity starting to bubble up here. And this is when we're going to have to be patient with your local weathermen, your meteorologists, because there are going to literally be at about 5 o'clock probably this afternoon several severe thunderstorm warnings, several tornado warnings likely ongoing, literally from the Midwest, parts of the Midwest, down to the central and southern plains here, literally all up and down these states here, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. All of these areas could have severe weather as we go through the late afternoon hours. We'll have to watch these bubblers out here, out towards Arkansas into St. Louis. We could see a couple tornadic supercells there, but they're kind of looking pretty weak. The real big storms are going to be back closer to the dry line here later this afternoon. We go to 7 o'clock. Notice these storms start to grow upscale, especially further north towards the low pressure system up there. So those storms really start to get a lot more rambunctious around Kansas City and Wichita around 7 o'clock this evening. This will be more linear, kind of giving us more of an idea that this is probably going to start turning into a flash flooding risk, because a lot of these storms will be moving over the same areas, but B, Probably a wind and hail threat as they become more linear here and more outflow dominant, so we'll keep an eye on this. We have to watch these bubblers even up here towards portions of western Illinois and getting up in towards Missouri. Those storms in around the Ozarks region early this evening at 7 o'clock. Those could become tornadic as well. We're also keeping an eye on some major storms down here into the Oklahoma City area and down into Wichita Falls, Texas. Those storms could be very significant. And notice the storm mode further south here. They're more discrete, semi-discrete. This could maximize that tornado potential for the Oklahoma City metro and Norman area. And again, down toward Wichita Falls by 7 o'clock here this evening. So that is definitely something to really keep in mind as we go through the rest of this afternoon. That the timing of the storms, again, we're really going to get going around mid-afternoon after 3 o'clock, and things will really pick up into the late afternoon, early evening. And then as we go till about 9 o'clock, notice even the storms down here, we're still seeing supercells just firing up over and over again, trying to erode that cap across North Texas. We'll watch, see if we get any bubblers around the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Those, if they do become severe, would be tornadic potentially as well, because the storm mode down here is more discrete. Again, further to the north, we're looking at more of a kind of clustering of storms, more linear, some bow echoes embedded in there, and then everything kind of grows upscale at around midnight here, heading into Sunday morning. From the Midwest down into portions of the southern plains. Notice even down into Oklahoma, Texas. We're seeing kind of almost a solid line of storms. While this does look linear, I do still think the tornado threat will persist well after dark. So don't let the lines of storms fool you. There'll likely still be supercells embedded within the line of storms. This QLCS, this quasi-linear convective system that could be producing still some embedded tornadoes, potentially some strong tornadoes even at midnight tonight. So now is the time to have multiple ways to receive watches and warnings. Charge your devices, your smartphones, your tablets, your laptops, anything you need to charge. Get those charged up if you live in Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma, and Texas, the areas affected today. Even up in the Midwest, Michigan, Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, those areas, make sure to charge your devices in the off chance that you see severe weather. A little bit lower of a threat further north. You can see exactly where the warm front will be around midnight here, kind of draped across the Midwest here. You got the dry line cold front combination back here, low pressure system moving up through that region. So some flash flooding will also be enhanced up near the warm front as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. It looks very noisy later this evening, I'll tell you that. In Topeka and Kansas City especially, if you guys live up there, it's going to be a noisy late evening for you folks with the thunder. And Oklahoma City, look at this, folks. This looks dangerous down here, even at midnight. Some of these supercells showing up here on the model do not look good here across the Oklahoma City area, back toward Moore and also into the Norman area. And then some of these supercells back here into like Lawton, Fort Sill, and Wichita Falls, Vernon, Texas. These guys down here, we could be talking about some pretty strong storms there at midnight. And then after midnight, again, this eventually, the later you go into the night, this is turning more into a heavy rain threat versus a severe weather threat here. I think the tornado risk will gradually start to wane in intensity and coverage as we go after midnight here, and this will gradually, transition more to a flash flooding threat, essentially from Chicago back through Kansas City, Oklahoma City, and Dallas. There is a moderate risk of flash flooding. We'll show you that on the screen in a minute. But across this region here, there could be a lot of very strong storms producing some very rainfall efficiency here. So we're going to be looking right now at the hydrological outlook from the friends over at the Weather Prediction Center to kind of show you the area outlined with the best potential for flash flooding here. They actually did just add in a high risk for flash flooding just east of the Oklahoma City area. So a rare high risk for flash flooding here. So if you live east of Oklahoma City here, you definitely have the threat for some widespread damaging flash flooding here across this region. And it says, confidence continues to be high in a major flash flood event unfolding for portions of east central Oklahoma with higher end rainfall totals Saturday beginning late this evening and Saturday night. So this is going to be after the main severe weather threat goes through, and then as we're going into the later nighttime hours. Therefore, a small high risk was introduced for locations east of Oklahoma City along I-40, that's Interstate 40. Higher end rainfall totals, 5 to 10 inches worth of rain in just 24-hour period could cause flash flooding near the Red River Valley and on up there into northeastern Oklahoma as well. All right, so that's what the Weather Prediction Center was stating there, and that's the reasoning for including that high risk for flash flooding. So in addition to the severe weather threat, we have a threat for some significant, if not catastrophic, flash flooding potentially here. Again, a high risk for flash flooding is very, very rarely issued, just kind of like a high risk for severe weather. So, and notice the larger moderate risk. We don't want to, don't want to take this lightly either. Still in Tulsa, up here into Joplin, up in towards the Springfield, Missouri area there, southeastern Kansas, that stretches down into the northwest suburbs there of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We actually have a moderate risk of flash flooding that in its own right could produce several inches of rain here as well. So we're definitely keeping a close eye on that. And if we kind of zoom it out further, look at all the areas that are colored here with green, yellow, red, and even magenta or pink. Those are the areas highlighted with the potential, at least, for flash flooding today. So again, this stretches even up into Milwaukee, Chicago, Des Moines, over here toward Fort Wayne, Indiana, Kansas City and Topeka. That stretches back down to Dallas, even the Abilene region, and towards San Antonio. So a very large area that could be impacted by flash flooding today across portions there of the Midwest into the plains. So we got to take it seriously as well. And then as we go into tomorrow, tomorrow as well, we do have a flash flooding risk as well. Just a little bit less of a risk, but still a slight risk here across areas of southern Missouri into the foothills region of southeast Missouri, down into the Little Rock area there and much of Arkansas and the state of Arkansas there, the slight risk of flash flooding. Northwestern Louisiana, east central portions of Texas, and eastern Oklahoma, kind of the area there. But you look at the green extending all the way up there, almost towards Canada, pretty much, all the way up into like the Twin Cities area, Green Bay, up there to the UP of Michigan, the Upper Peninsula. So a lot of flooding here. And we'll kind of show you the rainfall amounts here as well. Let's show you the rainfall amounts we're going to expect over the next 24 to 36 hours. Because some of this rainfall is definitely going to be coming in bunches here over the next several hours. So this is already through 3 o'clock in the morning. Let's move the needle. This is as far as it goes. So let's look here. Again, 3 o'clock in the morning. Look at some of these areas down here. Oklahoma City, folks, you could be seeing closing in on 6 inches of rain at times. I see some 5, even 6 inch totals down here. And remember, folks, this is over essentially literally like the next few hours. I mean, this is literally going into 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. So this is a lot of rain to come down in a short amount of time. We'll keep a close eye on that. Even some 7 inch totals being predicted here by the HRRR model. And then kind of a separate area near the warm front up here in northern Missouri. We could be talking about over 4 inches of rainfall here as well. So that is definitely something to keep an eye on. As we go into the overnight hours, transitioning from severe weather over into more of a flash flooding risk. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure. So that's just kind of the rundown of what to expect timing-wise, storm mode-wise, and rainfall-wise over the next several hours going into late tonight and early Sunday morning. So hopefully you guys are up to date on that. And again, if you are here, make sure to smack that like button and subscribe here to Weather on the Go. We did a video forecast this morning, another video forecast for you tomorrow morning coming your way as we have additional severe weather. We do videos almost every single day out of the year. So again, make sure to subscribe here to the channel. We'll keep you covered with the latest weather information. All right, so let's go here to the single site radar across these areas. Again, a lot of clustering of the storms here happening. Most of these storms are basically producing the low-end severe weather. Your 60-mile-per-hour wind gust producers, your quarter-size hail producers, we're not really seeing anything too terribly significant from a rotational standpoint, besides seeing a golf ball-size hailstones here. That's the strongest storm just west of Enid, right along I-60 here in northwest Oklahoma. Other than that, we're really not seeing anything too terribly significant yet. But this is kind of the calm before the storm for a lot of us. A lot of these storms will be popping really, really late today into the afternoon, late afternoon and into the evening, and we need to be watching out for this. What do I think the Omaha tornado will be rated? I would probably be shocked if it wasn't an EF4 with what it was looking like yesterday and some of the damage indicators, like some of the pictures that I was looking at, some homes swept off foundations, like walls of homes being collapsed. I would be shocked if it was less than an EF4. I think it'll be at least a low-end EF4. I try not to speculate too much, but probably an EF4 to be honest with you. That's probably what it would be rated. Hey Ben, thanks for joining. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee has a threat for severe weather mainly this evening. We could be seeing some stronger storms up there into the Milwaukee region, and we can go back here to the HRRR. We can kind of show you what to expect timing-wise up here. So like into the Milwaukee area, we're talking mainly later today, so like not like, anytime soon. We could have some storms this afternoon, but I think mainly into this evening is when we're looking at the timing of storms there in Milwaukee. So this afternoon, pretty dry. Could have a storm maybe late afternoon. Or late afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock. And then going into the evening hours, we're going to kind of see storms try to fire up along kind of a boundary there, setting up in the Midwest. The more robust storms will be further south in Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri. Those storms will be lifting up through Milwaukee. It's mainly an overnight setup for heavy rain there in Milwaukee, and most, honestly, of the heaviest rain will be well south of you towards Chicago, towards Peoria, Illinois, and Rockford, Illinois, and even the Davenport Quad Cities region, a couple hours south of Milwaukee. So a couple bouts of heavy rain and severe weather potentially there for Milwaukee. I don't see any, tornado outbreak for the Milwaukee region. I see maybe more of the storms producing those 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail, kind of what we see down right here in Kansas and Oklahoma right now. Yeah, same thing, Lisa, in Sabula, Iowa there. We're kind of looking more at widespread storms up into the Sabula, Iowa region there in eastern Iowa. Literally, I think the storms start getting going after dinner, going into the late evening hours, and then they really become more widespread, especially there, again, around the Quad Cities region and Davenport, Iowa City and Cedar Rapids, Clinton, Iowa, those areas, and southward, so like the I-80 corridor, as kind of like an area to watch for some flash flooding potential. Really seeing a lot of these storms moving over the same areas over and over again here after midnight. So that's when the storms will be the most widespread across this region. Again, thank you all for joining live tornado outbreak coverage here. We're going to be doing this for a little while, and I appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. If you are here, make sure to press the like button down below and subscribe here to Weather on the Go. Again, we put a video out this morning, and we'll do another one tomorrow morning for you folks, and keep you updated on all of the weather information, even heading into early May, what you can expect. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're on the road. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. I could not do it without you all, so I appreciate it. We're up to 88,200 some subscribers now, so I appreciate it. Yeah, lower Michigan, you're not going to see really anything too significant up there. We're mainly talking about, quarter-size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds if we see any severe weather up there. You're in like a marginal and slight risk up there, so like Wisconsin into Michigan, you'll be fine. There's a 2% tornado risk. Again, make sure to remain weather aware, but I'm more concerned here about Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas, and even parts of Missouri today. So that's kind of the main corridor of which we're looking at here. But yeah, if you live in lower Michigan, besides 60-mile-an-hour winds, an isolated tornado threat, and I emphasize that, isolated tornado threat, and quarter-size hail, I really think you'll be fine up there. Thank you so much, Lisa. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good weekend. Let's see here. Right now, yeah, into south central Nebraska, we could be talking about some stronger storms still. It looks like the most intense weather will be well south into Kansas and especially Oklahoma. Severe weather may be possible as the warm front tries to lift north there toward Lincoln and Omaha again around 5 o'clock this late afternoon. We could be seeing some hail producers out there. Again, probably quarter size, maybe a little larger. We are kind of outlooked in that area where we could see those 2-inch or larger diameter hailstones. So again, that could be hen egg size or larger with a few of these storms. I think the more widespread hail and wind and tornado threat is just a little bit further south of you today, outside of the south central area there of Nebraska. But we'll keep a close eye on that. Things can always change. Things can definitely change. Even as the day goes on, weather changes a lot. So Kirksville, Missouri. Storms will be firing up later on this afternoon, becoming more widespread there this evening. Kirksville, Missouri, kind of in that area where we could see some very heavy flooding rains. I mean, look at that. Northeastern Missouri just gets hammered with tons of rainfall going through the midnight time frame, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock. We see several hours of very heavy rain and thunderstorm activity, possibly several rounds of severe weather as well. Some of the rainfall totals predicted here for around the Kirksville, Missouri area, we could be approaching, I would say, about 6 inches in some of these areas. So like Kirksville, Missouri, I'd say about 3 to 6 inches of rain is a good bet for you for rainfall totals just between now and the next like 12 hours from now. So and then like Galesburg, Illinois over here could see about 2 to 3 inches of rain. So again, make sure to remain weather aware, even about flash flooding as well. You don't want to drive on any flooded roadways. Definitely not a good thing to do. Turn around, don't drown. That's the saying. Kind of like when thunder roars, go indoors. Turn around, don't drown with the flooding risk out there. What are my thoughts on the high risk increase? You're talking about the flash flooding. I think there's several inches of rain coming here for Oklahoma City area, just east of there. I think we could be seeing rainfall amounts approaching a foot in some areas, up to 12 inches. That's why they upgraded that to a high risk for flash flooding. The SPC did not upgrade to a high risk. The Storm Prediction Center it's still a moderate risk for severe weather. They didn't upgrade. Here, I'll show you right now. This is the latest update from the Storm Prediction Center. There's not a high risk on here. The highest risk for severe weather today is a moderate risk in the red. That's a level 4 out of 5. 4 portions of southeastern Kansas, southwestern Missouri, Oklahoma, and North Texas. Does include areas like Wichita, Joplin, down to Tulsa, Bartlesville, Oklahoma City, Moore, Norman, Lawton, Fort Sill, and into the Wichita Falls region and towards the northwest side of the DFW Metroplex. So those are the areas outlined in that moderate risk for severe weather. I'm assuming you mean Rockford, Illinois. We could be seeing some storms later on today. I don't really foresee them being too terribly widespread severe, but I think we could be seeing some 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail, stuff like that, an isolated tornado threat, and some heavy rain. I think heavy rain is going to be a big deal there. We could be seeing a few inches of rain for Rockford, Illinois. Most of the storms come through during the evening and overnight, so most of the Saturday afternoon time frame there will be dry in Rockford. Tornado threat for Ottumwa. Yeah, we can look at the probabilities here for the tornado threat in Ottumwa here today. Ottumwa, Iowa, you have a 5% chance of a tornado. So you have a decent shot at a few tornadoes today. Again, this will be later on today, so mainly an evening event for you. So make sure you're watching out for that, especially after 5, 6 o'clock. That's when most of the storms will be bubbling up and moving through your area. Also a flash flooding risk for you there in Ottumwa. If we look at the day 1 hydrologic outlook, you can see, I didn't want to do that. You can see there's a slight risk for flash flooding in Ottumwa, Iowa up there as well. So make sure that you have multiple ways to receive warnings and watches and stuff like that for severe weather warnings and watches. So we could be seeing some flash flooding down there and potentially even some severe weather, like I said, with the potential for tornadoes at a 5% up there in southeastern Iowa. The reason why we're kind of going over and answering your questions, folks, is because we were doing live radar analysis, but there's only 2 severe thunderstorm warnings right now that are ongoing, which is good news. We don't have a lot of severe weather happening. We have another severe thunderstorm warning popping up here just north and west of Manhattan, Kansas. This storm is capable here of producing 60-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar size hail. This is going in effect until 1:15 this afternoon, so make sure if you do live into the Manhattan area, especially up here toward Clay Center into Kansas, Greene, and Oldsburg, and especially near, the near term here in Wakefield, make sure you are indoors and away from windows. The storm could be producing some severe weather imminently for your area, hence the severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah, you're welcome, Jim. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Hopefully, hope you're having a great weekend. Yeah, Des Moines could see some pretty strong storms later today. Like if we go back here again to the HRRR model, kind of showing you what the radar could look like here. Later today, you can see in the Des Moines area, kind of giving you a general timing here of the storms. So looks like around Des Moines, you can see probably like around dinner time and then thereafter. So after about 5 o'clock, storms will be moving in from the south and west. So they'll move into southwestern Iowa first and then move from southwest to northeast there toward Des Moines. They could be moving in between about 5 and 7 o'clock. They could be packing a punch there with some lightning, and then it looks like a lot of the heavy rain kind of skirts off just to the south of Des Moines, between the Missouri-Iowa state line and then over there toward western Illinois. That's kind of the corridor where we could see some very heavy flash flooding rains. So 5 to 7 o'clock here this evening is kind of the time to watch there in the Des Moines metro area for any potentially severe weather and stuff like that. More widespread storms. Yeah, if you see the sunshine today, down here, like into Oklahoma, like you're mentioning, that will destabilize the atmosphere, and we could be seeing even stronger severe weather. So we'll keep an eye on it. That would feed right into the tornado threat down there, into portions of Oklahoma. Again, you can see all these supercells developing mid-afternoon here down into Oklahoma. 6 o'clock, look at all that. It starts to congeal into kind of a broken line of supercells with embedded tornadoes here. Some of these storms could definitely put down a tornado at any time across southern Kansas, western Oklahoma, and northwest Texas. We'll definitely be keeping a close eye on those. Again, I won't be here all afternoon for you folks, but I'm here as long as I can, for a little while longer. My hope was to be here till about 1:30 for you folks. Then I have to go do some stuff, But if you are here, make sure again to subscribe to the channel down below and also like the live stream. It helps out, again, way more than you know. I really do appreciate it. Go check out my video again that was posted today. Give it a like. I appreciate that as well. Yeah, so let's go back to the radar here. Big time storms in and around the Enid area, just to the west. Look at all these clustered of storms here, just to the west of Enid in Oklahoma. All these storms capable of producing severe weather. We do have one warning to the north and west of Enid right now. This is, I would imagine, again, 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail. It's kind of the general theme right now, just kind of the appetizer for what could happen later. We have another severe thunderstorm warning remaining down here just east of Lubbock in Texas. Kind of one of these supercells. And these storms have been severe as they kind of pop up. Very small cellular storms, supercells. And every once in a while we can have a little bit of some appendages on here. But these are mainly producing some hail and some gusty winds. Like this one here, 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail here near the Jayton, Texas region. And this will be crossing over Interstate 82 east of Lubbock very soon. So if you're traveling east out of Lubbock towards Wichita Falls on 82, this is Interstate 82, you could be running into this storm with 70-mile-an-hour winds and some half-dollar size hail. So definitely be on the lookout for that. We have another supercell just east of the Childress, Texas region. This is heading right toward Altus into Oklahoma, right over the Texas and Oklahoma state line. Golf ball size hail here and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Again, this storm is right between the Childress and Vernon, Texas region in the Quanah, Texas area, moving northeast towards Altus, Oklahoma. And this is, again, heading up there towards highway and actually Interstate 62. So we'll keep an eye on that. That storm could be putting down some golf ball size hail. For sure. These big storms here this evening. Let's actually, this afternoon, let's just look here at the echo tops with these storms as well, because these storms are actually pretty tall. Yeah, look at these. Look how tall these storms are. We're seeing this one up towards, the one heading toward Altus with golf ball size hail, 50,000 feet. Northwest of Wichita Falls, 56,000 foot echo tops here, folks. I'm actually surprised that one's not severe warned yet. And then down here just to the east of Lubbock, that storm is around 52,000 feet tall, 53,000 feet. So that's pretty tall. Those storms today, a lot of these storms are going to be over 50,000 feet tall. The reason why is because we have a lot of instability today. The atmosphere wants to rise. All of the moisture wants to rise and produce thunderstorms, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. And we're definitely watching out for that threat today. Again, this could include strong and long track tornadoes. Again, just like we saw yesterday, that threat could be there again with us as we go through today. So, and we're also keeping an eye on some of these bigger storms. If you're south and east of Wichita into the Winfield, Kansas region, we're seeing the threat for 60-mile-per-hour winds and some quarter-size hail here as well. This could include the Winfield area, Douglas, Oxford, Burden, Atlanta, the Cambridge region, and also the Strotherfield Airport area. So if you guys live down here into the Winfield, Kansas region, this is mainly kind of a rural area with some smaller towns, Oxford, Winfield, Douglas, and Cambridge, and that'll be heading up there eventually towards Latham and Beaumont into Kansas. Just east of Wichita, be on the lookout for those storms there. It could be packing a little bit of a punch as they move across to the east. Again, just tuning in here for live tornado outbreak coverage. You're at the right place here. We're just kind of looking at the radar a little bit here. Not too much happening right at this moment. There's a few severe thunderstorm warnings. Since I've been live, there's not been any tornado warnings here, and I've been live for almost an hour now. So not really seeing any tornadic thunderstorms as of yet. Things are going to be turning over here very soon, though. In a few hours, we could be seeing some strong tornadoes potentially and some very large hailstones with some of these storms as they cross from Texas over into Oklahoma there. These supercells that are popping up kind of all across this area here in northwest Texas, these storms down here that are already severe with some big hail and some wind of 60 to 70 miles an hour, those are actually moving towards the Oklahoma City metro area. Those storms will mature as they push to the north and east as they move into Oklahoma. More of a better environment there for severe weather, and that is something we'll keep an eye on as well. I'll have updates on my Twitter page and X if you guys want to follow me there, HWeather420, all throughout the afternoon on the severe weather situation. So make sure to go follow me there for the latest on that. I'll be reposting some pictures on there of any storm damage that may come up, any storm-related pictures, weather-related pictures on there on HWeather420 on my Twitter. So go, again, follow me there, HWeather420. It's on the screen. Yeah, so we're just watching these supercells here across northwest Texas here. Again, these are basically just large hail producers at the moment. And 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts is still a lot of wind there. So 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts, $half size hail with this storm, northwest Texas. This will be crossing over Highway 82 and up toward the Guthrie, Texas area, maybe just east of Guthrie. Be watching out for the biggest hail core with that storm. And then up there, eventually into Altus, Oklahoma, we could be dealing with this supercell with golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Alrighty, folks. Well, there's not really much happening right now. I just wanted to hop on and talk about the threat for severe weather, kind of answer a few questions on here while I was on here for a little while. We did do a video this morning, so if you guys don't know what is happening today, go check out that video. It is on my home page on YouTube, so my YouTube homepage. Go check out that video. It is there. And we'll do another weather forecast video tomorrow as well, so be on the lookout for that. We do weather forecast videos almost every day here on this channel, and I appreciate all your support. So if you haven't subscribed here to Weather on the Go, click the subscribe button down below, turn on all notifications, like the live stream on your way out. Go like my video as well, and share my video, all that stuff you want. You don't have to, but gets the information out to more and more people. So all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your Saturday and weekend, and stay safe out there, folks. We'll see you all tomorrow on my new video. Goodbye, everybody.